right. And we are live, we hope. Hello and welcome to Developer Insights. I'm David.
And I'm Justin.
And together we are the leads on game development and design here at Codename.
Well, not only that, but we also founded Codename.
We're going to be your hosts for this episode and for every episode.
Because when we're not here, the show doesn't happen.
Still holding up.
Yeah. Today is our 107th episode.
And sadly, our last episode.
What?
Of 2023.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because we close our office for the 2 weeks over the Christmas and New Year holidays, so.
That makes sense. Okay, so I guess get your questions in now, because otherwise you're not going to get an answer until next year. It's like a whole year away.
Really?
Yeah.
It's actually only 3 weeks from now.
No, actually, as a dad, I'm legally obligated to pretend that the time between the December 31st and January 1st is a long time for dad humor purposes.
I'm not really sure that's very funny.
Oh, hi, not sure that's very funny. I'm Dad.
Right. Okay. Got it.
Anyway, we are here to answer your design and development questions about Idle Champions.
If you don't ask any questions, however, you may have to suffer through Justin's one-man reenactment of, what do we got this time? Charles Dickens' story, A Christmas Carol.
Yeah, I'm actually pretty excited about this one. I've been practicing my ghost voices.
Ooh, can you give us a preview?
Sure. Let's see. I'm the ghost of Christmas future. Don't be a dick, so your friends and family will like you. Ooh.
Okay, well, okay. I mean, that's pretty good advice in general.
You know, I was thinking about releasing a podcast with random advice in the Ghost of Christmas Future format. Always look both ways before you cross the street.
Yeah, you should totally do that.
Yeah.
Yep. It'd be a real hit. Okay, as always, we have pulled some questions from the previous show that we did not get to, and we will answer some of those while we are waiting for new questions to come in. But before we get to those, we do have some updates on the items that we flagged to get looked at by the dev team. I think I actually have some items today, which is great. So without any further stalling for time,
which is what we've been doing,
let's get started with those. Okay. Scroll to the top of the document here. Okay. So we do have, looks like 4 items that are either in the current build or going out in the next build, which is the outgoing effects list on the character sheet was having an order that was changing depending on, well, I guess it was changing on reload. Anyway, the order is now sorted. The order list will be consistent whether you are in an active game or you have reloaded. We have added a sort to the champion selection dialog when you're filtering for the shop. On the patron summary screen, there is now showing the total available variants in addition to the number that you have completed, so you can see what the total you've completed is out of. And there is also a timer on the current run on the reset tooltip portion to let you know how long your current run has been going for. We still do have a handful of items here that are in progress, including that recall misses the familiars that are on potions. We are going to increase that bounty contract limit use up. 1,000 is the target, but we still need to fix some performance issues on that, and so that's still on the list. We will be adding a tooltip to the potions so that you can see what's active without going into the potions dialog. We will adding a sort filter to the quest tracker. We will add an option to the champion sheet so that you can open chests directly from there, as well as buy additional ones. We're still going to look into see if you can actually do a minimized view for mobile. That was something that was suggested a few shows ago, and we haven't had a chance to look at that yet, but that seemed like a reasonable idea. We'll be adding a hint text to Egbert's specialization choices with the number of atonement points he currently has. Peter was telling me just before the show that this is something that once the current version is out for everyone, we can make a quick change in data to do that, so that's great. We'll be adding attack types and roles to the bench slot information champion hover pop-up. Add enemy health and damage to the kill log, which was requested a couple of shows ago. Seems like a straightforward one. I'm not sure why that hasn't just gotten ticked off. We will add an option to always show all bench slots, even if you don't have enough gold. And we will be making it so that the campaign map position doesn't reset when you change patrons. All right. It's the last time I have to go through that list this year.
Yeah, you don't have to do that for a whole other year.
Perfect. I like the sound of this. All right. Announcements. Really, look, you've got an
Yes,
announcement.
we do have an announcement. Well, we already kind of mentioned it in the intro, but this is our last episode of 2023. We do shut down the office for 2 weeks right around Christmas, and those 2 weeks happen to be the next 2 weeks. So we won't be back until, I don't know, whatever 3 weeks from now is, the January 4th.
January 4th, yeah.
So save your questions. We'll be here with, well, we won't have bells on anymore because it won't be Christmas, but we'll be here.
Yeah, that's true. January you can't have bells at that point.
No, you can't have bells on January 4th. That's just...
Yeah.
Christmas decorations up on November 12th, yes.
Whoa, no.
But bells on January 4th, no.
I don't know about the Christmas decorations on the 12th.
All right.
December to December period boundaries. Gotta have boundaries.
Let's move on to questions from the previous episode.
Sure. Okay, first question left over from last week's show is from Zeklane. And they ask, in Simral, are there gold chests from free play? My Warduke quest shows a grayed out gold chest, but the Yorvin Shadowheart free play shows a grayed out silver chest.
Yeah, I mean, this question came in last time. I was like, that's kind of odd, but I imagine that's just some sort of thing that got lost or switched over at some point in the art pipeline, and we started showing gold, like using the gold chest for the grayed out chest instead of the silver chest for the grayed out chest. But the free plays for Warduke or Yorvin or Shadowheart are all the same. All the event free plays work the same. It's a 2/3 chance for a silver chest when you complete it, and 1/3 chance for a gold chest with a 4-run pity timer. So at the very least, you'll get a gold chest every 4th adventure. If you happen to get super unlucky with rolling that 33% chance for the gold chest in other adventures. And that's the same for all event free plays. We don't vary that or anything like that.
No, there is no bell. You don't win a Nobel Prize for clearing your Christmas decorations by January 4th. Okay, next question. This is from Gerathanus. Why can't I never say this name right? Gerathanus.
I just want to pronounce it as Jonathan.
I know.
It's got some of the same letters in there.
It does. Can you add a slowdown potion opposite of a speed potion so that we can do the Narak minigame?
Yeah, this is so we've kind of talked about some of our ideas for making the Narak minigame a little bit more accessible. A slowdown potion isn't necessarily one of them, though we did talk a little bit about doing like a slowdown potion. Actually, what we were talking about is a way to kind of pause your speed potions.
Yes.
So that at least you're not blasting through areas, in 10 seconds kind of thing. I mean, you could. I guess I would say yes. There is an issue in the game where if you complete or switch an area while the ultimate is active, it just immediately kind of ends, which sucks if you're trying to get a bunch of stacks. I guess I would say the current solution to that, which is not a great solution, but the current thing that you can do in the game is just turn off auto progress. As long as you're not in a boss area when you finish the adventure, you won't, or the area, you won't automatically go on to the next area if auto progress is off. Until we can find a better solution for that, because it's a little bit, it's got a bunch of kind of annoying edge cases, unfortunately. Yeah.
All right. Next question is from the Lurking Writer, and they would like to know, some video games reportedly. Wait, did we?
Did we talk about this? I copied this up, and I wasn't sure if we talked about it on the stream or after the stream, because sometimes we look over some of the remaining questions after the stream and kind of talk about them, just Dave and I when the stream's off.
Okay,
but I wasn't sure.
She says you didn't answer it last week.
Okay.
So the question was, some video games reportedly have hidden kill screens if certain conditions were met during gameplay. If Idle Champions had such a thing, what would you potentially display on said screen? Or what type of conditions would you want players to meet to access it?
Yeah, so when we were talking about this, we did a little bit of research. I looked it up, and there were 4 games listed on the wiki that had kill screens, and they were all from like back in the day of limited memory. Like I think it was like Tetris and Pong or something like that. And my guess is that they all occurred when some sort of scoring integer got up to max and rolled over, and then just broke things in memory. And so in that way, in the spirit of that, I guess up until the point at which we had capped the Zorbu stacks, there was the potential for those to roll over and cause issues. But in general, kill screens aren't something that really exists anymore. Generally, we do a little bit of memory management and don't have crashes when you reach certain big values.
No, provided that's what the Lurking Writer is talking about, and they can provide us with an example if they had something they were thinking of that wasn't that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes when I'm sitting in one way, the two eye stalks of Iris behind me look like earrings. Is that true? Oh, yeah.
A little bit, maybe.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Cool.
Good question.
Okay. Question. I just saw it in the chat.
No, I mean, I know it wasn't a question, it was a joke.
Alrighty, let's go to some new questions from this week. Our first one is from Library of Akasha, who asks, yes, can we have a button to place all the patron or season mission champions into the formation with a single click? Would be very handy. So I guess go through all of the season and patron challenges that are active and find any required champions and just stick them
not
into
necessarily
the
in
formation.
any order, just like, in you go.
I mean, who needs an order, right? You just need to have them in your formation while you're killing stuff.
It's true. I want to say no.
It feels very edge casey to me. Like I can see the use for it, but it feels like something that. I mean, where would such a button go, and what kind of real estate is it using up that another button could use? Same if it was like a keyboard shortcut or something like that, or if it was like on a dialogue somewhere. Like UI space is pretty precious.
That's true.
So, yeah,
I was kind of wonder, like,
sure.
it's pretty niche, but it almost sounds like an alternative might be something like you could pop up a window for like searching for champions, and you could filter it by those things, and then you could just drag them out of there. And it would have to have some kind of automatic thing that if you dragged one that was in a different seed, it just swapped it.
Yeah, possibly.
It just needs sort and filter for your champions. There's so many you have to actually.
Yeah, that'd be an interesting kind of solution to people who are like, hey, I'm using this champion who wants chaotic champions. You could bring up this dialogue, search for chaotic, and it would list all the chaotic champions, and you could pull them out of there into the formation. Or like champions with a magic attack or a ranged attack. Or
we've got enough champions at this point.
Stats of.
And it could show ones that you don't have yet that do meet those conditions, and then you could open a time gate and get them from.
Yeah. Yeah, that's actually an interesting kind of way to think about it.
Yeah, I mean, if you get enough, that kind of makes sense. At some point, you actually need like sorting and filtering to go through your champions. Okay. Cool. Next question is from Garwar, and Garwar would like to know. Tiered bonus quests don't automatically add the next tier to your quest tracker when you complete a tier. If tiered bonus quests are staying in the game, can we get this fixed? Yeah, that does feel like something we should get fixed. I know we do that for like milestone quests during seasons, so I think this was just an oversight. I think the milestone quests, the way that they kind of track their tiers is a little bit different than how the bonus quests track their tiers for reasons. So yeah, that's something that's probably just a bug, honestly. Yeah, bug, oversight, should be fixed. Yep. Okay. Next question. This one is from Rough Rider 1995. Oh boy. And they ask, can I be the final 2023 request for a 9-jump Briv item level cap? Yes, you can. Well, I feel like that could be up to the chat. Yeah. No, I feel like yes, you can. Scroll down. Someone else is asking. Yeah, no one else has asked it so far. Okay. Well, I doubt that'll remain the case. Next question. This is from OG17, asking, will the story complete campaigns of Will the story complete campaigns of Waterdeep, Avernus, Icewind Dale, and Witchlight still get a second evergreen character? Is one character per campaign a more realistic expectation? Yeah, so I think our design philosophy on this has probably evolved over time. I think our initial idea was to have sort of one mid-campaign champion and one end-campaign champion. And we've continued to do a lot of those mid-campaign champions in the more recent campaigns. But just the number of champions that exist in the game has started to make it
more of a big question as to whether we do a second champion in every campaign. We certainly did. I mean, we did in Tomb of Annihilation, which was the first campaign, but I'm really not sure which way we'll come down on this. Evergreen champions are always fun for us. They create a new kind of thing for players to go try and get to finish the campaign, but it's an awful lot of design work for it's just a continuing a design space that is continuing to shrink. And I think we'd rather have new champions come in events and new mechanics come from reworks and stuff like that.
I mean, you could expand that design space by adding mini games to each
Yeah, and this is why Dave is developer/designer.
Oh, yes. Way to throw me under the bus. There are no... No, I'm not going to say that. Next question. This is from Garwar. Are the glitch feat bonuses that say stuff like 20% per, quote, race tag additive or multiplicative?
So I believe these are fresh in my mind. I see your other question down here. These are more fresh in my mind. I believe they're all additive. I think if they were multiplicative, they would say multiplicative. But I think all the glitch ones are additive. I'm less sure about the legendary ones, which is a question coming up here.
Okay.
The next question here is from Aviri, or Av3ri, who says,
Avery?
hi...
It could just be Avery.
It could be Avery. Who says, hi, Justin and David. Hi. Sadly, the iOS version of the game has been freezing and crashing since the Thalora update months ago. We've had multiple game updates but the game is still freezing and crashing. Can we please have a resolution?
1980 by 1020. Okay.
Not that type of resolution.
That is a good question. I'll have to check with Peter on what reports we've been getting on that. I'm trying to remember. I know we did have... There was an issue not recently, but within the last like 6 weeks.
We've had a couple of issues with Macs recently where like there's a new like...
Right, but this is the
version.
iOS... This is iOS, not Mac OS.
I know, but there was one for iOS too, where they did like an iOS version 14.1 or
Yes, that was losing people's account
something.
information though.
Is that what that was doing?
Yeah, there was the Game Center was reporting back
Oh, okay.
different IDs like every time they launched the game.
Right.
It was this is a crashing issue.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough.
Yeah, I will check with Peter.
Apple does not make developing for their platform super easy.
And see if there's something going on there. One thing that can often happen when sort of crashes, particularly if they're out of memory issues, because that's one of the ones that often does happen on iOS, because the iOS devices do have a little less memory on average. And they also get pretty grumpy if this game starts to allocate a whole bunch at once. The iOS version the OS will actually kill the app if it looks like it's doing that. So sometimes that does have to do with like the formation that you're running or the adventure that you're running or variants or some of the rules like that. And so it could very well be tied to particular champions that are in your formation. And so for something like this, it also would be helpful if you opened up a ticket and said, this has been crashing on my iOS device, and we can take that and we can run it on one of our local profilers and see if if it is building up in memory. That is something that Peter actually has been doing recently. He's got a machine completely dedicated to that. So you see him getting up and jumping between workstations where he's just got one running with accounts to see if we can track down sort of both performance issues and memory issues. So it is something that he's been actively working on lately. So we can get that account. Send the ticket in, and say that David on stream said to check this for memory profiling, and we can take a look at it. Okay, next question. This one is from Canelian, and they would like to know /say Narak's ultimate goes on cooldown if you complete /switch an area while it is active. This makes trying to chain the QTE very annoying, especially as he has no alt cooldown item, so you have to wait the full 5 minutes before trying again. Is there a way this could be made to pause during area transitions if it is currently activated?
Yeah, this is a challenge. I think we've tried to find some sort of try to think of some sort of solution for this that won't be horribly tech heavy. And I don't know if we discussed pausing the ultimate during the transition. I feel like that would be something that could be complicated as well. We did talk briefly about, is it possible to sort of pause the area transition while the ult is going on, but that has all sorts of buggy edge cases, like if you kill the boss monster in a boss area with the ult, and then like no more mobs spawn until you progress to the next area. So there's a bunch of kind of edge cases with it that make it super annoying, and I think it's definitely something we're gonna have to try and solve. But in the meantime, as I kind of mentioned before in the stream, I think the best thing is to just disable auto progress before you do it, and then re-enable auto progress afterwards.
Okay. Let's see. Next question. This is another one from Garwar. Are legendary bonuses that say stuff like 30% per stat additive or multiplicative?
I believe they are also additive, unless they specifically say otherwise. But it's been a while since I set up the legendary bonus system. I'm pretty sure they're additive, though.
Pretty sure. You heard it here.
Yeah.
Next question. Oh, chat saying additive but not labeled. Next question here is from OG17 asking, apparently a stream said the epic giveaway Shadowheart skin will be going to wild offers after. Wouldn't this go to the gem shop like other free-to-play giveaway items as the previous epic exclusive Eliwick skin did?
I would assume that we would do the same thing that we did with previous free-to-play stuff, but I'm not 100% sure on that. I haven't seen the plan for the Shadowheart epic giveaway stuff, but I assume we would want to try and be consistent on that, unless we're specifically trying different behavior for analytics reasons to try and see what the best way to do it is.
Okay. Next question. Here's a fun one. Yeah. This is from Fewer Pills. And they ask, a few weeks ago, the well of spoilers, found a very old champion image with the graphic ID of 4, which would be slot 3 originally, but that champion seems to have never appeared in the game. Instead, it got replaced by Nelly, as we all know, and maybe sometimes rarely even use. I see. Can you talk about that champion and maybe why they were trashed? Trashed isn't the word I would use. I could tell you his name if you want, but wanted to make sure this is fine for you because it's technically something that's hidden in the in-game files and not visible.
Yeah, so I do remember we had a different champion originally in slot 3, in Naeli's slot. And then we switched to Naeli at some point very early in development. So I don't think we even ended up drawing a character model for it.
We did. Well, we had there's like a single frame.
Yeah, there's like a sketch, and I think we had in there we had like a portrait, a character portrait. I think we just copied from somewhere else for that one. But yeah, I mean, during development, during early development, even during development at this point, we will sometimes create some stuff and then end up not using it, and that's one of those champions that got replaced. I can't remember exactly why they got replaced. It could have been something as simple as we just wanted to have a more equal like gender distribution, and so we just replaced one of the male characters with a female character.
I'm pretty sure. It was something like that. I'm pretty sure we ran the original roster as part of like an approval process, and it was flagged.
Yeah, I think we were like 7 to 5 or 8 to 4 or something like that, and we switched it over.
I would guess it was something that Chris Dupuis flagged when he worked at Wizards before he came and worked for us. And requested that we change that balance.
Yeah, so I think it's something as simple as that. I don't think any of the mechanics of the champion changed. I think we just changed who it was.
Well, I think at that point we didn't even have like all of that designed. I think it was just, this is what the roster is going to look like.
It could have been even that early. Yeah. I'd be surprised that we would have drawn a
placeholder. But I know it was a static. It was not animated yet. Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's a cool piece of trivia from
a long time ago. 7+ years ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. This is from OG17.
Oh boy.
Can you say what the next patron's eligibility requirement will be? That sounded like it was going to go further. It didn't. It's not right there.
Period. Full stop.
Period. Full. Well, it's a question mark, but
Yes. Question mark. Full stop.
yeah.
So the next patron, we are in the process of designing that. The specific wording of the requirement, we haven't quite gotten there yet, so I don't want to really announce it. But I will say the general philosophy around it is we're actually trying to do a patron that will have a more dynamic set of champions assigned to it, so it won't necessarily be static like the existing 4 champions. It'll be something that will change over time, which we think will be really interesting because it means that sort of your strategies for that patron's variance may change over time. There may be times when certain adventures are easier. There may be times when certain adventures are harder. But I think it'll keep things really dynamic with that patron and be a really interesting way to try some new stuff. So hopefully it'll work out.
Okay. Next question. This is from Fewer Pills. Can you add the option to mark event achievements for the tracker in the event tab instead of having to go to the achievement menu? That would be great. Thanks.
Yeah, I really like that idea, and I think we've got a good opportunity to do something like that in the nearish future.
Right. Yes.
Let's see. Next question here is from Alpha Kroll, and they say, just a reminder of loading familiars on the ultimate bar is loading. Just a reminder of loading of familiars on the ultimate bar is still problematic on background groups. It works on specific ults, but not on the bar. Can't recall your list if you listed on the running issues.
It doesn't work on the bar.
Is this in background parties? They're just not using their ultimates if they're on the roaming. If there's roaming familiar set, but they are if they're on specific ults.
You know, I bet you that's true.
It's odd because the roaming familiars, like, they try and click every, what, like 15 seconds or something like that?
Yeah, but they also move between alts.
Yeah.
I kind of wonder if there's some issue. Well, I mean, we can dig into it. I almost wonder if they're not moving.
I think it might be a different issue. They're saying in background parties they don't get loaded onto the bar? They don't get loaded onto the bar, so they don't show up as assigned. That'd be a totally different issue.
That's a totally different issue.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll tag that. I mean, that should be really easy to check. If that's
Yeah.
the case. So.
Yeah, we will look into this one for you. All right, it looks like our giveaway is ready to run. Do you know about the giveaway? Have you ever heard of this?
Never heard of the giveaway before.
Okay, so
it's not world famous or stream famous or
no. This is our.
We don't give away aluminum chests.
This is our minorly interesting,
transparent or otherwise.
This is our minorly interesting gold chest giveaway that nobody knows about. And this is our last one of 2023. So very exciting, except not actually exciting, except kind of exciting. But the way this works is very, very shortly, there will be a keyword in chat. All you do is copy that keyword back into chat and paste it in and say it, and you will automatically be entered for a chance to win 42 chests of your choice. They could be a lot of different types of chests, but it does have to be a type of chest that exists in game. It can't just be a randomly made up chest.
I can't have like a polycarbonate chest? How about a polyethylene chest?
No.
A polypropylene chest?
No poly chests at all.
A polyvinyl chloride chest?
Well, maybe that one.
Oh, wow, I'm not going to be able to pronounce that.
You brought up a lot of things that are going to be tough for you to pronounce.
Acrylonite butane styrene?
Yeah,
it's just ABS.
Styrofoam?
An ABS chest.
Active bowel syndrome chest? What?
I hope you have an active... Okay.
Anyway, good luck to everyone on that giveaway, and I hope you win. You, specifically. You right there. Hope you win.
That guy?
Yeah, no, the one to the left. Yeah.
Him. Her?
Well,
them?
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah,
okay.
right there.
Okay.
Okay. Good luck to you. Let us move on to the next question. This one is from... No, you can do this one.
All right. This is from Unos Draconis.
Unos
Draconis. Can we get a hover over tooltip for the name of the Modron cores in the current party selection menu?
Yeah, that makes sense. I think we should do that.
It's hard to argue with.
Yeah, that seems like a really simple thing to do that we should just do. We'll add it to the list.
Why is the poinsettia shaking so much?
Yes, the next question.
Rough Rider 1995. Is it afraid of you?
It's nervous. Yeah, it knows what I'm going to do to it right after Christmas.
Someone's gonna let it die.
Straight
right?
to jail.
It's gonna stay in the office over the holiday break.
Yeah, no one's gonna
water it, and
it's
gonna die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very nervous.
That's terrible. Okay, next question here, also from Rough Rider 1995, that you didn't highlight, but I'm asking you anyway. How far into 2024 before we get the missing gold node on the strong core?
I specifically didn't highlight this one. I mean, I got to do this at some point, I imagine, but that is a good question of how far into 2024 we get before it gets done. It's a very good question.
Right, not answered. Got it. Okay, next question. This is from Garwar. Can you please add a note to the grayed out chest tooltip in events to let people know that a chest is a reward for a free play? Currently, it just says favor is. Yeah, this does seem like it is something we should do. Does it just say favor is? It doesn't say anything after that.
I think it just says favor is. You gotta emphasize it correctly.
That's my favor is chest. My favor is free play reward.
Oh my gosh.
Don't worry, the year's almost over.
Alrighty. The next question here is from Phoenixian Ultimatum, who asks, would you consider adding some features that scripting offers to those able/willing to script the game as some in-game Modron features, i.e. change formation on level X, only level a champion to level Y, etc. I know it would be challenging, if not impossible, to fully bridge the gap scripting builds, but maybe some features could be added to keep those things in-game.
You know, I mean, that's an interesting question, and I think, this might be kind of a follow-up from what we discussed last week, which was sort of the idea that, it would be a fun and useful tool inside of the Modron automation to have some kind of, like, I don't know, what did we describe it last time? As sort of like a list of commands that could be run at certain levels, like some kind of a scripting language, so to speak, or even just a list of commands that happens at, at a particular level. Would be a way to provide some of the customizability that people have been asking for, that is more difficult for us to provide through sort of a system of tools and menus and sort of accounting for everything. It's one of those things where I think the idea is pretty cool, but I worry about what that might open up from a support standpoint. I know at some point, sometimes Jarrett had been pretty excited about doing like an API for the game, which I had to tell him was not necessarily something we were going to prioritize doing, that would allow us to sort of, interface with it and send in commands directly rather than attempting to sort of use the, I guess the scripting tools tend to either modify memory or have click most regions or that sort of fun stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I like the idea, but I worry that it would be fairly complicated for players to understand how to use it. I think there could be potential support issues with it, and I think it would take away development time from things that would impact a larger group of players.
Yeah.
So, while I do like the idea, I don't think it would be sort of a really super well received across the board. It would be a small niche group of players who are really excited about it. Yeah, I'm not sure if you had any further thoughts on that, Justin.
No, I think you covered that pretty well there. I think the last one is the kind of important thing is we have limited resources and we do have to prioritize those resources, and so it can be hard to justify doing something that we think would be really cool and be really fun for people like us who like to script and play around with stuff, but probably not useful to 99% of our players.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see, where are we? Next question. This is from Rough Rider 1995. Can we get customizable hotkeys? This is a repeat request.
Yeah, they want customizable hotkeys. We need that. You know, we're not a real game until we have a place where you can map your controls. I don't know. I mean, this is more of a question for your kind of side.
Yeah.
I think it's
One day?
someday.
One day.
Someday. I think it'd be cool, but
Yeah.
this is it's another kind of question that's about kind of the prioritization of time.
Yeah. It could be that we meet you halfway with like just a config file you can change rather than having a complete configuration UI.
That's true.
That probably wouldn't be too bad to implement. Of course, still comes with the caveat that you type the config in wrong, you override the hotkeys. You can't assign every hotkey to the same key.
Yeah. You just hit one button and every single dialog pops up. Oh, that would be bad.
Yeah. Anyway, all right. Next question. This one is also from Rough Rider 1995, asking, with Season 7 starting 2 days after vacation, does the 8-week format include 2 weeks vacation feel rushed for the Season 7 reworks?
Yeah, this is a good question, and for Season 7 specifically, and always around kind of Christmas time and January releases and whatnot, we spend quite a bit of effort trying to get ahead on that stuff. So the Season 7 work started a long time ago and is at this point completely done. So I don't think that the 2-week sort of Christmas break has impacted what we were planning to do for Season 7 or how much we did for the Season 7 champions. So I don't think so. With that said, I mean, the 8-week format, obviously it does affect just the total amount of time we have to do champion rework work, and it definitely doesn't have. I wouldn't say it has no effect on how much we can do there, but we still try and make sure that every season is going to have a solid set of reworks in there for people to play around with, and we really want to highlight the champions and make sure that they're interesting and that players can build around them. So yeah, I don't think it's affected Season 7.
I mean, those were locked and loaded like 2 weeks ago, right?
Yeah, they were. Yeah, we were done them weeks and weeks ago, and design was done on them like I don't know 2 months ago at this point. So yeah. Yeah, because I know that often this time of year, there's definitely a lot of sort of crunch leading up to the break, and this year was not so bad from dev time, I think. Yeah, I mean, I don't think we've ever done like a lot of extra hours or anything leading up to it, but everything it feels
tight.
Yeah, I mean, just to clarify, since crunch is like a loaded word, we don't generally do any like traditional game industry crunch here in the office. I think the last time we did it was
we only make remote.
I think the last time we did it was actually prior to Idle Champions launch.
Yeah, I mean, there was no overtime involved.
Maybe like a little bit here and there. But I think, what you kind of meant by it was just like just working a little bit harder, trying to help make sure we get ahead for the
prioritizing the things that needed to get done for the launch, and then sort of letting the other things, putting the other things aside until that was complete.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, next question. This one is from Billiam Smith 84. Why didn't you have Puent available in any party which contains Brunar? That's his life mission.
Yeah, so I mean, I think this is a similar kind of question to like how Kent and Virgil work together, or how there's a bunch of kind of stuff here. So thinking back to when we were doing the Puent redesign, I feel like the reason we didn't want to do this is because we'd just done it for a couple of champions, and we didn't want to just kind of be doing this same thing across all champions that are kind of linked, because it does kind of impact, the whole point of the patron puzzle is to get people to use different formations and different patrons. And so if you start to kind of have ways to include every champion with every other champion and every patron, you start to get into these kind of sameness between patrons. And so I think we decided not to do it for Puent in this case. It could be something that we could revisit at some point. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised by that. But I think we are nowadays we are being a little bit more liberal with it. But back when we were doing those redesigns, we were a little bit more wary, so it could be something that we add in the future.
Okay.
Next question here is from Rough Rider 1995. It's similar to the automation one that we were talking about earlier, but they basically ask, can we get multiple potion options for the Modron automation? I feel like this is one that we're starting to get every week.
Yes. Yes, at some point that system will get some love.
Yeah, I know we've talked about doing like a potion loadout kind of option in the potion manager, and then potentially tying that into the Modron automation, so you can tell it to like load a certain loadout at a certain area. I also know last time we talked about this that some players pointed out that familiars in the potion manager had resolved some of this, because if you wanted to have a specific type of potion active all the time in your Modron runs, you could just assign a familiar to it.
there. It is one of those things where I guess if you didn't want to assign a familiar there, having the loadout do it would save you that. So I can see the desire for that. Or if you wanted to start a potion late in the run or later in the run, but I'm not 100% sure what the utility of that would be. Unless it was like using up a certain number of smaller potions and you didn't want to use them until later. I'm not 100% sure.
No, that's fair. I mean, you don't necessarily want to use a small DPS potion or a small gold potion until you get later on in the run, because they literally like do basically nothing early on in the run. So, yeah.
Oh, the chat emote is saying that the familiars on the potion manager don't save with the formations, though. What? Seriously?
Well, that's
okay.
That's not.
They
right.
were supposed to. It's the first I'm hearing of this. Okay. That is something we should fix.
I'm just going to make a note of that in here.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, that would explain sort of
formations.
the note that they don't come off with recall.
Familiars on potion manager don't save with formation saves. All right. I've made a note and I've highlighted it in the color of fixedness.
Yep.
The fixed color.
I'll have a word with Mark when he gets back.
Yeah.
All right. Next question. This one is from Riptide451. Can we get the tiered bonus quest to be reach rather than complete, so we don't have to run hundreds of levels over and over to complete the tiers? Make it a high watermark rather than needing to restart.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea. I agree that it is tedious to do, like 19 adventures in order to do every single bonus tier. I'm also not sure. I'm also not, like, from the other side, I'm also not sure that just doing one adventure is the right number that we'd want you to do.
Yeah, I mean, the reason, obviously, like, this was a discussion point when these were originally designed, and the idea that you could just get all, credit for the whole thing in one shot didn't make sense. Seemed like it was sort of from a quest design standpoint, I don't think we would have put them in if that was the way you could complete them. Like, you'd get credit for, all 10 tiers or all 20 tiers or whatever for just doing it once. That's way too much.
I feel like
go.
There needs to be like a kind of middle ground. And like, one thought we initially had was like how far apart are these quests, right? Do we do like one for area 100, and then like the way we have now it's like 100, 200, 300, whatever. And we thought, do we do it every 500? So we do like a 500, 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 kind of thing. But then you get into these weird kind of cases where, like, if you can only reach area 800, you can only do one of them, and then you feel like it's just too far to get to the next one. So we did want to keep them within range of each other. But yeah, I'm not sure how to solve this. Like I said, there needs to be a balance between too easy and too tedious, and I feel like doing it as reach would go too far into the too easy. But I do agree that right now having to run it 19 times is too tedious. So need to find a middle ground for that.
I'll just pull that particular one out entirely.
All right.
Next question. This is from Zalfa. So I'm going with. It looks like
Zilpha?
Zilpha.
Hmm.
It says it's not a question. Oh well, never mind. Next. Not a question, but I'm happy Sasaspia got some love this year. Still waiting for the removed merfolk Ashara had in her potpourri at some point.
Yes, I think, and Mars says here, I think they meant Triton. Yeah, so I think at some point we were planning to do a Triton champion. This is similar to the question we got before about Nayeli. And I can't remember exactly who the champion was or why we kind of moved on to a different champion, but we kind of went in a different direction. Garwar is saying it's in Ishi. That's possible as well. Anyway, yeah, that's another one of those things that just changes in development, and who knows? Maybe someday we'll come back around and do a Triton champion, but I don't think there's one on the books right now. I think they were talking about doing one as a glitch champion, but I don't remember if they where that got to, because that would have been kind of interesting and a bit of a nod to these particular specs. So, and yeah, I'm also happy that Sasaspia got some love. I really like Sasaspia. I think people have asked before, like, what's our favorite champions? And I think I've mentioned Sasaspia a couple of times as being like one of my favorites. I really like her, like the effect of her spores going around her head and like, you know, saving them up and then shooting them into enemies. It's always been really cool to me. So, yeah.
All right. Next question. This is from Rough Rider 1995. How long into 2024 before the collection's rework launches?
That's a good question. We do have a date in mind. I don't know if I want to say it because it's gonna. If we don't hit it, then people are gonna be like, they said on Dev Insights that it was coming out on this date, and they said they were 100% sure. Even if we say we're not sure we'll hit it.
This is when it's coming out. We're not 100% sure. Then the quote is, this is when it's coming out. They cut the part after that.
Yeah.
I know that.
But yeah, it is planned for early in 2021, says Your Pills. No, that's when the dev blog's coming out. I guess we're hoping to get it out in Q1. But we will see. I'm fairly confident about that.
If it doesn't come out in Q1, I think you owe them a one-man show.
I'm not sure about that, but but yeah, we are hoping to get it out in Q1, and so for people who don't know, in the first 3 months of the year. So hopefully that's when this comes out, but no guarantees. Don't quote us on that. Oh, you're quoting us on that already, aren't you? I see you quoting us.
It's a pretty good bet. The devs are blank % sure. They're hoping to do it in the game soon. Trademarked, yeah.
Yeah, the Lurking Writer has stolen our script.
It's all those years making fun of Valve. It's coming back to haunt us. Okay, next question. This one is from Delkin, and they would like to know, can we get a skin for Brunor named the Tutorial Dwarf that looks like Garwar? And we've got a seconded on that from Mars.
Mars just wants a skin that looks like him.
I was trying to set a precedent, I think so.
We're on to you, Mars. Yeah. No, I don't know the answer to this. I don't know if we would do that kind of thing. I think we've talked about doing like someone asked a couple of weeks ago about doing like a Garwar champion. I think we were kind of like, I'm not sure. Yeah.
It doesn't feel like it's totally outside of the realm of possibility, but all right, you don't like any of these questions, huh, Justin?
This is where I got to in my highlighting, and now I'm.
All right, well, we've probably got time for 3 more questions, maybe 4 more questions, so let's pick some that are good.
Okay, here, I got one there. No.
Remember, make them good. These are the last questions of the year.
Yeah, right? Oh, here's one for you. Yeah, this is a good one.
Oh boy.
All right, let's do them.
All right, next question. This is from Rough Rider 1995. Does Jim revealing an Epic exclusive skin on my Steam platform client a violation of any agreements?
I sure hope not.
That was an easy question.
Yeah, we're doing the 100 questions thing now. We're just trying to get through the last couple. No, I don't think so. But honestly, I don't know. I'm not a lawyer, and I don't know what kind of agreement we had for that. So hopefully not.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Probably make available on account, not show a preview of. I hope.
To any Epic lawyers watching, stop the stream.
Just stop. Okay. Next question. This is from Dice42. Is the new patron an established character in lore, or something is a C&E original character? Or which one are you leaning towards if you haven't decided yet?
It is an established character in lore. Yeah. It's a very established character in lore.
All right, we're getting through these faster than I thought. We might need additional ones. All right.
Oh, no. Okay, the next question here is for you. It's from Ledieth. It's a question that you've heard before. And they say, any more consideration for the feat save global opt-out or a lock feat feature?
A lock feat. Yeah, I mean, so this is one that is on the list. And it is one that actually I ended up talking to Peter about last week. And there was still, I'm not 100% sure where we landed on it. I know like the option to have an option that just you could turn it off was something that we were likely to do. I know Peter was concerned that he wasn't sure that we were really addressing the needs or what like players actually wanted from that. Mm-hmm. And so I wanted to make sure that we didn't sort of keep sort of tweaking that into a place that wasn't really where anyone wanted it to be. Mm-hmm. So I know it was kind of right in the middle of things when we were talking about that. So it's sort of put onto the side for like, this is something that needs further discussion. Yeah. So I think that's sort of where that's at, is it needs further discussion as sort of what makes the most sense and sort of where it makes sense that you'd want to include the feats or not, or whether or not it makes sense that the champions should just have the feats on them and then not changed by the formation save, I think is kind of the, because there's this problem of like you change the feats and then want them to be changed across the saves in a particular formation, but then you have to go and update them if that was the case. And it's all kind of in a weird state of like not really doing what it's wanted to be doing.
Yeah, I think we talked about doing like when you update a feat in one formation and it was in a saved formation, that it would like prompt you to be like, do you want to update this feat to this new feat in every one of your saved formations, kind of thing. But yeah, Peter and I were talking about it as well for quite a while one morning when we were both here early, and yeah, it definitely requires a breakout meeting to kind of really narrow down on exactly what would be useful for people, as opposed to just kind of continuing to take kind of stabs at it without really digging deep on what would be super useful and helpful.
Yeah.
I think we've got time for one more question.
Sure. Which one?
The one that is highlighted.
Oh, that one. This question here,
as we always do in every episode.
Quiet you. This question is from Lexanum. We have space, we have the underworld, we have the Fae. Is there any chance we can have a full underwater campaign? There's a good number of playable races and monsters that are water related.
Like Tritons, for example.
Yeah.
I think that, so I mean, the short answer to this is the campaigns we do are the ones that Wizards releases each year. So I would say definitely take this question to a Wizards stream and ask there, because we don't have a lot of control over that. I think that would be super fun. We could do like some sort of cool water overlay effect, like we did in, what was that, Bushwhacker 2, I think? Maybe Bushwhacker 1 had it too, in the underwater area. That was always fun.
Sorry, I see a
Made my
comment
brain
here
hurt a little bit.
in
But
the chat from the Real Bunny Beast. What do you have against mermaid champions? Which only makes me think of with a quote from Cabin in the Woods. Where he's like, have you ever seen a mermaid? Pray you never see a mermaid.
That's true.
Yeah.
Traditional mermaids, not the they're not all little mermaids. Let's just say that. All right, I think that's
I think that's it.
it.
We're out of time for the year.
Yeah, if we didn't get to your question, don't worry. You will have another opportunity. We'll be live again at this same time next year.
I mean, yes, but I hope
Technically
so.
correct.
I hope that's the
Yeah.
same time next year would be next year, December 14th.
No, just in general in 2024.
Okay.
Anyway, before we sign off, though, we'd like to thank our tireless mods, as always. This week it was Gabe and Mars, of course. They're the folks who copy your questions into our questions doc and help make things awesome in chat, so thanks to both of you.
And of course, thanks to all of you for hanging out, watching the stream, playing the game, and asking such great questions. Because without you, no one here would get to do what we do.
And we like what we do.
All right. That's it. We're out.
Good night, everyone. Merry Christmas.
Good night,
Happy New
everyone.
Year.
That's better. Yeah. All right. So I didn't get a Christmas themed joke, and now I'm feeling like I've screwed up.
Yeah, you kind of have.
All right. Never mind. Anyway, regardless, let me tell you this instead.
Okay.
When I was a kid, my dad got fired from his job as a road worker for theft. I just refused to believe that he could do such a thing. But when I got home, the signs were all there.
God.